All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Tim Lee. I'm the executive director of the Texas Retired Teachers Association, and just want to say thank you to all of those who are tuning in. We are certainly back at the legislative session, and it's been the first 2 weeks, and TRTA is gearing up for what we call our district legislative visits, where we have teams that will come in and meet with our elected officials during the month of February in preparation for our great big day at the Capitol that we're all excited about. I hope that you are working to make your plans for attending. It's March 26th. All are welcome. We are going to be celebrating the victory of HR 82, the end of the WEP and the GPO. We're also going to be advocating for what we are always working on in Texas, and that is making sure that our current retirees and our future retirees are assured of their retirement security, and that we look for all opportunities to benefit our current retirees with some kind of benefit adjustment, if that's possible. So we're going to dig into that a little bit today, and I know that a lot of you are tuning in to hear what news is happened with the WEP and the GPO. So I am going to talk briefly about those updates. And y'all just hold on one second. I'm going to make a little adjustment here on my overall view so that I can see you a little easier. I really like seeing the comments that are coming in, and everybody who's checking in on YouTube and Facebook. Hello to all of the folks that are here. And I'm going to start with a little bit of a maybe some rules or some life goals that I kind of live by when it comes to the legislative session. And I know that some people are tuning in specifically today to hear how TRTA may comment on what is happening with the TRS fund and what's happening with bills that may affect the TRS fund in this legislative session. I'm going to get to that. So let me first begin by saying that I know that nobody is going to have all of the answers, and there will be times that you, as our membership, may wonder, the pace at which TRTA is advocating for certain things, the pace at which we're distributing information. There will be times that you all may get very disappointed in certain business things that we do, but I understand that I have the opportunity to be a very public figure, and that there are times that I will be in front of a screen, or that I'll be on television, or that I'll be making statements, and somebody really wants to hear me say something said a certain way. It's very possible that you will watch one of these videos and you will think that either I am not expressing an opinion that you would like to hear, or you may think that I'm not aware of something that may be going on. And the reason that I'm saying all this is because of the discussion that is happening in Texas right now about what we call education savings account, or the voucher discussion that's happening over the Texas Capitol. And there are people that have their views on that on multiple sides of this. I have said to our TRTA membership on a very frequent basis that our position is to always support and protect the teacher retirement system of Texas, to ensure that the retirement security of our current retirees and our future retirees is never called into question. It is also our objective to make sure that any policy that affects TRS in any way is something that we meet with or the state legislative leadership on and have those conversations. I have done this in Texas for now 21 years. I don't even know what session I'm on now. We as an organization have built a reputation of being able to work with all decision makers. Does not matter what their partisan views are. We do not believe that TRS and its funding and retirement security is a partisan issue. In fact, we look at all of the people in the legislature as people that we respect and that we're going to work with. And I know that just in the last few days, there has been some actuarial analysis done on one of the bills that is being considered in the Senate, as there will be a bill considered in the House talking about this and how it may impact TRS. These are early days. This is an early conversation. We have a 140-day session. We're in the first 2 weeks of it. We have a very strong connection with leadership in the House, with leadership in the Senate, with leadership in the governor's office. And as an organization, I believe all of those leaders and all of the people within the legislature, certainly the ones that I know, they respect TRTA. They respect us because we are very consistent in what our messaging is and what our views are. And our views are that we as a state must ensure that our teacher retirement system is solvent, that we have sound practices, investment practices, that we have sound contribution practices, and that we find ways every legislative session to address any of the concerns that may start or may develop around funding for TRS. And it does not matter what the bill is. It could be a bill about anything. And I've seen plenty of bills over the last 20 years that want to do something, but may have an impact on TRS. And we as an organization, and I know this may be contrary to how politics and policy may be perceived in the big picture aggregate, but we as an organization work best when we have an opportunity to meet directly with decision makers and talk to them about information that is presented. A lot of that information comes out in short bursts. We don't have months to look at this. We may get a day or two. We are currently looking at some of that information now. We're studying it. I'm talking to folks. I've had conversations with people that I trust and respect today, people that are in leadership positions, and we're going to continue to have those. We have probably the best legislative team. I mean, I'm biased, so I believe we, TRTA, have the best legislative team that could work on behalf of retired school employees. I have a former state representative who was the chair of the pensions committee and served in the legislature for over 14 years. I have an attorney that represents TRTA, is also working with us and has had plenty of government experience in multiple roles and works with us on legislative matters. We are very fortunate to have the former executive director of the teacher retirement system working with our team. We are also fortunate to have what I believe is probably one of the smartest and best advocates who worked for school employees and has worked for TRTA for a number of years now, Brock Gregg. And many of you know Brock. He was on my show with us last week. We also have our TRTA leadership, our board of directors, our legislative coordinator, our state legislative team. And I know there are messages coming to those folks from many people around the state of Texas about this issue. I truly believe that TRTA is an expert organization when it comes to public policy and how to work with elected officials on these issues. We and I promise to all of you as our members that over the next 100 and so many days that we have left in the Texas legislative session, we'll look at every bill and every part of that bill and see where it may have some kind of impact on TRS. And then we will go and work with those elected officials to try to either mitigate those risks, to get some assurance about how those things may play out, or some clarity on where those assumptions may be that would have that influence. So that is a long way to say that I've learned a lot of lessons in this process. Most of those have to do with working with people that are in these roles to get information so that we can be accurate with you. We as an organization have tremendous influence because truly I believe we're respected within this legislative arena. And that is both on the state and the federal side. And so, I'm going to kind of pivot to the federal stuff in just a few seconds, but all of you that are interested in this, I'm going to be watching these comments. I know for a fact that very good friends of mine, even this week, said, "Hey, when will TRTA do thus or so on this issue, ESAs or something else?" Please know that we will act as we believe that we have the information to then act. And our board is deliberative, our legislative committee is deliberative. My number one interest is your retirement security. That is my number one interest as the executive director of the Texas Retired Teachers Association, to ensure that your defined benefit plan is solvent, to ensure that the public policy that we have around that defined benefit plan will allow us, when there are opportunities, to provide retirees some level of benefit enhancement. We have, for 10 years, worked together, more than 10 years, but I'm just going to focus on the last decade. We have found ways to increase contributions to TRS. We have worked to get the system to be actuarially sound. We have done multiple supplemental checks. We have passed one of the largest increases, cost of living adjustment increases in the history of the teacher retirement system, that was fully paid for by the legislature so that it did not harm the TRS. And we are working on all of those things right now. And we're going to continue to do so. My first opportunity to talk to senators is the Senate Finance Committee is having a hearing on February 10th. I will be there, and I will bring up the issues that we believe are the most important to our members. There are over 500,000 school employees now in the teacher retirement system of Texas. And I think TRS is doing a great job of managing those assets so that we are in a position to be actuarially sound. I'll just level with all of you today. When we go into this legislative session, these are some of the variables that we are looking at the most. Number one, is the system in a position that it is actuarially sound? Yes, we are at a 28-year funding period. Does the legislature have any available resources, financial dollars, that they could do something that would help retirees? They sure do. Did we have a significant win last legislative session? Yes, we did, but success is never final. I've said that more than once on this broadcast. Success, from our perspective, is never final. We always want to find ways to help retirees. Many retirees went multiple years. Some went multiple decades without getting any benefit adjustment. And so every legislator knows when they see me coming that I'm an honest broker, that I've got the voice of almost 100,000 members that I'm speaking with, and that many of those members are their family and friends back home. And I truly believe that most of those elected officials that are in office today want to find some way to help you with a supplemental check or a cost of living adjustment, or making sure more money is put into TRS, or finding some way that we can build up to doing that again. Whatever those are, that's what we're working on. And we are also working on other issues, including monitoring what is happening with Senate Bill 2 and the ESA conversation, and what that may mean for TRS in the future. That information is going to come from the sources that we respect, including TRS, the Legislative Budget Board, people that are in leadership. And I am not a bomb thrower. I will engage our membership with our board of directors at times that we believe it is an opportunity for us to make a positive difference on an issue. Right now, we're definitely in the fact-finding phase of this, and we're going to work through this process to make sure that we can represent your interests in a way that is going to be positive for us when the session is over. So, all of that to say, thank you so much for listening to it. My personal email address is tim@trta.org. You can send me any of your questions, comments, or concerns. Most of you have my personal cell phone number. I don't know. I always feel comfortable giving that out when I'm at a TRTA meeting. I'm not sure how smart it is for me to do it like this, because who knows, somebody could take that and do whatever they want with it. But if you need to get a hold of me, you can call our office at 1-800-880-1650. You can contact me on my email at tim@trta.org. And I'm more than happy to help answer any questions that I can. So thank you again, everybody, for all of this. I'm gonna go ahead and say a few words about what we know with the WEP and the GPO. It is certainly a big issue that many people are still wondering about. So I had an opportunity last Saturday to be in Pittsburgh, Texas. I was talking to a group of not yet retired folks, and my opening comment to them was, welcome to a new world where WEP and GPO no longer exist for you when you choose to retire. That was a huge applause line. I think people, and I'm certainly not applauding me. They're applauding the idea that that issue is now resolved for now, and that we know that world is a little bit different. So some people are online today talking about how they are getting their Social Security benefits, and they didn't think that the WEP and the GPO would be resolved where people are going to get benefits for 12 or 18 months, is what the Social Security Administration has been saying. What oftentimes is found out is that the people that are getting the higher benefit are folks that may now just be eligible to start receiving their Social Security, or that they have now applied to receive their Social Security. If you have never applied to receive your Social Security benefit and you are applying after January 5th, when the WEP and the GPO no longer exist, there is no offset to be calculated on that benefit. So for all of those folks that were listening in Pittsburgh, and all of those active teachers that are going to retire in the next however many months, or sometime in the future, they start getting their TRS benefit and they become age eligible, or they are already age eligible, but they postpone it and they try to get their benefit. If you've not applied for that Social Security benefit, you are very likely going to receive the new benefit based on a Social Security world where GPO and WEP do not exist. However, if you are currently a retiree and you have been WEP'd already, you've paid into Social Security, you tried to get your full Social Security benefit, but the WEP kicked in and it reduced your benefit down to just a very small amount, that's the WEP. And you may have been living with the WEP for 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, or longer. Those are the folks that the Social Security Administration has not yet recalculated those benefits. And it is difficult sometimes to discern online when people are making comments on social media, Facebook, whatever, saying, I've got my money. Well, they may have their Social Security because they had not applied for it. And so it's the same with the GPO. If you are a surviving spouse and you're trying to collect a benefit, and you have applied to Social Security and they told you, hey, you're not going to get it, they're going to have to recalculate that. And so that's sort of where we are in this gray world right now that we're living in, with some people saying they are getting it, some people saying, no, I haven't gotten mine yet. And I have, in the last 48 hours, really talked to some colleagues of mine that have attended some conferences, and they've been in places where they're talking to folks. And it is becoming even more clear what is really happening at the Social Security Administration with the processing of these benefits. Going to go right ahead and say that the comments that I'm about ready to make are not intended to say, I'm making excuses for the Social Security Administration. Not trying to do that at all. I am learning some more of this factual information about what's really happening. And there are some potential solutions that we as an organization, working with our partners in Texas and around the country, are working on right now to try to speed that up. So the biggest issue is that the computer systems, apparently, that the Social Security Administration that they're using, they're very antiquated. They're based on technology that is long past the most recent, iPhone update. I mean, we're talking about very, very old technology that is currently in use, and it's difficult to reprogram those systems in order to calculate new data. It is also clear that the Social Security Administration was not, I don't want to say if they didn't believe it, but they did not act when Congress had started the process of the discharge petition They started taking the votes in the House. Then they finally started getting to the votes in the Senate. It might have been only about the time that the Senate started voting where the Social Security Administration really said, this might actually happen. Now, for 40 years, organizations have attempted to repeal the WEP and the GPO. And that's a lot of time to kind of walk up, get ready to get something done, and then Congress fails to fulfill that mission. And I wasn't in the Social Security Administration. I don't have, firsthand knowledge of this, but from what I'm understanding, the Social Security Administration did not believe that it was beneficial to start acting as though WEP and GPO repeal was going to pass until it looked absolutely certain that it was going to. And so the combination of a slow response, in addition to very, very old technology, is creating a situation where the Social Security Administration is saying, "Hey, look, we've got a lot of catching up here to do, and a lot of these records that we have are buried deep inside this old system that we've got to try to find some way to make it work." So then the question becomes, can you hire more people? Can you find more staff? Can you do certain things that would allow the just adding more hands to help carry this load to get it done? Maybe. I think the Social Security Administration is saying that there may be some of that, but in reality, the Social Security Administration is a very complex and complicated federal agency responsible for billions of dollars and millions of people, and it probably has a learning curve when you're hiring new staff that is significant. And so there is conversation that we are having with people that are kind of in the know of if it's not more people and more money, is there some other combination of ways to get this accomplished? And we think that there could be. We think there could be. And the biggest ask that I think any of us have at this point in time is for people to be patient. I know that's hard to ask for patience after 40 years. I've been a leader in people saying, "Hey, look, there is an urgency here. It's been 40 years. These people need to get their resources. They need their Social Security dollars restored to them. It's been too long." And I still feel that way. From what I understand, there is work that is being done, and there are people that are working at the federal agency, and there might be some ways that we, as groups, can help them get what they might need to speed this up. That's what we are trying to get accomplished. It is going to be complicated. Yep, I understand. Yep, I'm seeing the comments. I get it. That's a good comment, and I know I won't state it, but if you're looking on Facebook saying SSA has multiple reasons why it's slow to respond, I understand. So as a TRTA response, the only thing that I can say is we are trying to look at the reasons that they're giving for why that slow response is going on. And is there something that we as influential stakeholders can convey back to the Congress so that they can provide additional resources, whatever those are, to speed this up? That's what we're trying to get accomplished. So we're working on that. Right now, it's still slow as you go, unfortunately. And I do think that you're going to see some response from our organization, from our friends, that might speed this thing up. And if you are watching this from out of state and you are a member of another organization, police or firefighters, retired school personnel, other public workers, and you're watching this update, please know that we want to work with your organization as well. We're going to need a national effort to try to get some of the things accomplished that we're going to be working on. I work very closely with my friends in Massachusetts, Sean Duhamel, who's just an amazing advocate, as well as our friends here in Texas with the ATPE and others. But I know there are a lot of national organizations, cops, firefighters, very instrumental in helping us get this HR 82 passed, that we're going to be reaching out to. And I think there are some things that we can do. On Monday, I will be in the Valley. I will be with Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, who has been a longtime advocate, supporter, signed the discharge petition, has been a sponsor of HR 82, has worked on other issues. He is having a press conference. And I know that he is doing all he can to draw more attention to the issue of getting the resources that may be needed for you all to get those dollars as fast as possible. So we are working. We're going to pull every lever to get that accomplished. Stay involved. Stay tuned with this, and provide additional feedback that is going on. All right. So a couple questions that I'm going to look at, and it says, is the Trump administration slowing down the rollout? No, not from what I've seen. There doesn't seem to be anything slowing down the rollout, except when HR 82 passed, there was the intention that people would have their financial dollars restored to them. But a lot of times when you have a big bill passed like this, we give authoritative control and sometimes funding to ensure that the law is implemented smoothly and quickly. This time around, they made a lot of provisions for repealing the WEP and GPO, for making sure that y'all would get the back pay for the year that it hadn't been fulfilled and however long it's going to be until it does. But there was no additional congressional funding to speed this thing along. And so I do think that's where this is going to come down, is that if we can find financial resources to bolster what the Social Security Administration may have to do to get this accomplished, that's what we're going to be focusing on. So I appreciate that. The next comment just says, retroactive to when the bill has an effective date of January 1st, 2024. So if you have been WEP'd or GPO'd and we know that you're going to get a retroactive payment to back to at least January 1st, 2024, there's been some discussion about, will that come in all in one lump sum? Will that affect me in my tax bracket? What other things do I need to know about that? We're working on that. We're working on some ideas that would potentially prohibit your extra payment that you may be getting from being taxed. We're talking to congressional members about that. We're working on this from multiple angles to see if there are folks that may get that one-time payment, but are counting on other government services that are means tested to not include that in affecting some of their other services they may be receiving. And this is affecting 3 million people all over the country. So there are a lot of things that I think Congress can still do, including providing funding for the Social Security Administration to act faster to get the money out. So that's all of this stuff that we're working on, and every day we're working on it. I empathize completely. I should say that differently. You deserve to have an organization and advocates working on your behalf to get the money to you as fast as possible with as little excuses as possible. That is the job that you all as members of TRTA expect from us. And I carry that burden every day with the idea that I want to get that accomplished. We want to get that accomplished for you because you deserve it. This is a victory. This is your victory. This is a victory that is 40 years in the making, and I want you to get your Social Security benefits. I cannot wait for the day that people will start saying, we have started to get this. We've seen that a little bit in Texas when we have won a supplemental check and it's been deferred till a certain date, and people start saying, I'm starting to get my money. That's what we want to see. So we're working on that. Please know that we respect your interest in getting that accomplished. So that's what we're going to continue to pursue. Somebody has a question about if I pass away, will my family get what is due to me? And I think the answer to that is yes. I am not a Social Security payout expert, not a tax attorney. I'm not a tax consultant, but I have heard that in the event that somebody passes away, some of these benefits will be retroactive to that time, and that a state or that beneficiary will receive some of those dollars. Again, I am not giving tax advice. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm not giving, financial planning advice. I'm just sharing with you all some of the things that I've heard. So I will try to get a better answer to that question and make sure that that we have, folks informed on that. Just looking at some of the other stuff that we're talking about, and again, I'm seeing some of the comments about how disconcerting this is and upset it is. I know, I get it. I'm happy to see that we've got a lot of folks that are watching this. Just to reiterate, TRTA is going to work with our partners across the country to find the strategies possible to get this accomplished. I will be in the Valley on Monday, and I'm not sure if somebody from my team is able to put where that press conference is going to be on Monday afternoon. Brock, Greg, if you're watching, or Cindy, if somebody can share that and you're close and want to show up, you can go to that press conference with Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, true advocate and supporter of this issue for us. And I believe he's going to be bringing to the media's attention that we need to see these dollars paid out faster, and that retirees should expect more support from Congress and from the Social Security Administration in order for these benefits to be paid. So we're working on that. We're gonna do all that we can. All right. There's a great question about, do we need to do anything or just wait to hear from the Social Security Administration? It's a great question. And I'm going to answer that a couple of ways. So number one, if you have not yet read the information on the Social Security website talking about what you may need to do in various situations, please check out our website and go to that specific link where the Social Security Administration is talking about that issue. If you are age eligible and have never applied for your Social Security benefits, and you believe now is the time to do that, I would encourage you to communicate with the Social Security Administration and see what that process looks like for you. You've never applied, you're age eligible, you're a TRS retiree, and you said, hey, I just been waiting for the day, and I've never applied for my benefit, but I can do that today. You are very likely going to work with a Social Security Administration person who will set you up to start receiving your benefits with no WEP and no GPO. So that's a pretty good position. Those provisions no longer exist. So I spoke to a TRTA member 2 days ago, and she is a widow. She was actively employed. She was widowed while she was actively employed. She started receiving some of her Social Security benefit once her husband had passed away, but she was still actively teaching. And then she ultimately retired. The GPO was still in effect. The GPO calculated the reduction of her spousal benefit that she had already been receiving while she was still actively teaching. And then the GPO eliminated her spousal benefit entirely. She reached out to the local Social Security Administration office. She expressed that she would like to start receiving that benefit if she was eligible. And the Social Security Administration at her local office said, you will not be eligible to receive that benefit because you received your benefit already while you were actively teaching. That was bad advice. That was bad information. When the Social Security Administration starts recalculating those benefits, that retiree is going to see her spousal benefit restored. And unfortunately, the local offices are not getting the same information. They may not be getting any information from the Washington, D.C. main office. So if you are potentially eligible to start receiving benefits and you want to connect with somebody at the Social Security Administration, I would suggest that you contact the Social Security office at the 800 number that is on their website. I don't know at this point in time, based on some of the information that I'm receiving, that going to a local office is necessarily your best bet. Again, I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not giving you, legal advice or anything else. But it may be that you should start with the Social Security Administration first at the 800 number that has been given. please understand that there are 3 million people going to be affected by this, as we have said. It's a lot of money that is going to start coming back to retirees. And there are nefarious individuals that will want to try and take advantage of this situation for their own personal gain and your loss. So my best advice to everyone is to stay engaged directly with the Social Security Administration, to work with your own financial planner or tax consultant, and to make sure that you are not providing any of your personal information to anyone contacting you. Social Security Administration does not generally reach out to you. You have to contact them. So please, observe all of the normal practices when protecting your personal identity, especially now, and especially because there will be people out there trying to take advantage of the situation. You can talk and trust to the Social Security Administration. You can talk and trust to the Teacher Retirement System of Texas, and you can talk and trust the Texas Retired Teachers Association. I will never ask you for your Social Security number. So if you have an issue or a concern or question, we will try to work with you and help you. If it's an advanced issue, we will put you in touch with friends of ours in Washington that may be able to help you as well. Okay. There are a lot of questions coming in about the situation. Been penalized since I was 64, retired now in my 80s. May not be too much time. Listen, there are almost 500 TRS retirees in Texas that are age 100 years and older. I know that we have a lot of folks that have been suffering from WEP and GPO for a long time. There have been some congressional questions coming back to me about, can we find ways to help some of our senior retirees that are, lower incomes faster. My objective is to work with people to try to help everybody all at the same time. I don't know all of the answers right now. All I can tell you is that we're working on these things. And I know I'm looking at a comment from Nelda on Facebook. I understand that. I hear what you're saying. And we're going to push every button and pull every lever and use all of the leverage that we personally have to try to get these things done faster and see if we can get something accomplished. Let's see, we have the 800. Somebody's saying the 800 number knows nothing. They started a special deal with just HRE. You can contact the screw. So there's a lot of folks that are going to get different experiences when they call that 800 number. Some people were on hold for a couple hours, and some people were on hold for a couple of minutes. There's a lot of people calling from all over the country. If you're not necessarily getting the service that you think that you need, then I would, as bad as it may say, I would probably hang up and try again and talk to somebody else. And again, if you could email me some of the stories that you're hearing or some of the things that you are personally dealing with that I can share with our congressional members, it may help me be able to get the resources that we need to speed this along. So if you've got an experience and you want to share it with me at tim@trta.org, I can get that to our congressional members who may have the power of the purse and can help, speed this along. So that's just a strategy that we're working on. All right. I know you all have lots of questions. Is there a way to find out the amount that we may receive? That is a great question. Somebody, I think I can click on that and share this. This is a good one from Mr. Copeland, who's commenting, is there a way to find out the amount we may receive? That is a great question. It is my understanding that the Social Security Administration has done calculations and estimates for people for many, many years. The Congress has struggled with whether or not those estimates are accurate, which has been another big issue on Capitol Hill. But I have often wondered the same thing. And so Jim or whoever is typing on Jim D. Copeland's on Facebook page, I'm going to try to ask that question myself and see if I can get a better answer. That's a question that a lot of us are wondering. Can you give me some estimate about what that may be? Carolyn Lance is a good friend of mine. Thank you, Carolyn, for your kind comment. I appreciate that. We have to reach out to So this question that's on Facebook, we have to reach out to Social Security. It won't actually be done, automatically be done. So, um, great question, and probably a good way for me to, kind of rephrase some of these things or to point out what some of those differences are. So, the Social Security Administration has basically said to everybody, if you are currently WEP'd and GPO'd, um, there's not a lot for you to do right now because we're recalculating benefits, and they have used that terminology by hand. That's what's slowing all of this down for all of what other reasons that they say. So, um, right now, unless you've had an address change, unless you've had some communication path that is not the same as what it would have been, there's probably nothing for you to do right now with the Social Security Administration. Some people whose spouse has passed away and they have moved, when they filed for Social Security and they had the GPO tell them they were not going to get that benefit, well, they moved, and they need their information updated with the Social Security Administration, so that when this is recalculated, they will be able to start receiving that the back pay plus the new pay. So that's an example of what somebody might be reaching out to the Social Security Administration for right now. There are people that are retired from their TRS or their government job, and those folks have never applied for Social Security. They've waited, and the WEP and the GPO no longer exist, and they will be first-time filers for Social Security. Those folks are very likely going to receive their full Social Security benefit or their full spousal benefit based on the fact that WEP and GPO are now no longer in effect. So those folks are encouraged to reach out for those issues. There are people that just have questions, and Social Security Administration has given that 1-800 number for them to contact if they have a general question. To a large degree, most of the folks that are watching this today and have been WEP'd and GPO'd are probably in a position where they don't have a lot to do except wait for Social Security to recalculate those benefits. I have been watching comments on social media and have been concerned that some people are going on some of these, very informative, active social media pages saying, I've gotten my Social Security. I'm so grateful that I finally got the money. I called them today and they just needed to get it done and it got done. That's not the scenario that most people are in. That's probably somebody who just filed for benefits for the first time, and they're starting to get their benefits because they had never applied for it before. Most of the people that have been WEP'd and or dealing with the GPO are going to have to wait for Social Security to recalculate those benefits, and that's the part that we're trying to push so that it gets done faster. So far as I know today, if your information with Social Security is on file and it's not changed at all, and you're waiting, there's really no reason for you to call the Social Security Administration and wait on hold for that to happen. So that's some of the difference. If your spouse passed away a few years ago and you went to a local office and they said you don't even need to apply for your spousal benefit because we see that you're a TRS retiree. I know because you just told me how much your monthly pay is that we're going to use that to offset your spousal benefit. So don't even apply for it because you're not going to get it. Those people left the office sometimes not applying for it. If that is you, you might want to call the Social Security Administration so that you get on record and be eligible for whatever back pay may be yours to claim when those benefits get recalculated. It is hard to give advice on things like this when you know there are 3 million people that all have a different story about how their situation may have played out. It's a very individual thing. To the large degree, most people right now don't have anything to do but wait. Okay. Can be a long wait for appointments at the local Social Security office because the smallest number of Social Security workers are at this time. So, yeah, I'm not sure how effective visiting the local office is unless you're filing for benefits for the first time. I've seen our viewer count go up and down, which I appreciate, and I have this balance that I'm trying to reach right now. The folks that are still tuned in, and it's going up and down. And so my guess is that a lot of folks are kind of being told that this is being talked about and they're tuning in. But I think what we're going to have to do is try to, bring this to an end. It's been 45 minutes. Y'all have been very patient. I am going to do everything that I can to be as honest and forthright and direct with y'all about the information that's happening as it becomes available. If something happens, I won't wait until Friday social media time to send out an update. If something happens and you need to know about it, we have an email news blast that we call the TRTA Inside Line. You do not have to be a TRTA member to get that information. You sign up for that, and we'll send you the updates as they come out. Please continue to tune in on these Friday meetings, because this is like today, I had 3 or 4 meetings where I was getting new information and I want to share it with you. So we're working on it together, and we're going to continue to do that. Please continue to tune in. We are going to be, as I said, next week, my plan is to cover the testimony that we are going to provide at Senate Finance. Next February 10th is the date for the Senate Finance hearing, where TRS will be talking, and then TRTA will be testifying about our state legislative issues. I will bring up all the new info on GPO and WEP. I will bring you an update about what we did with Congressman Gonzalez at his press conference next Monday afternoon. We'll post that as well in case you're in that area and you want to go to that. We'd love to see you. But please continue to be a part of this. Thank you so much for your membership with TRTA. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have already won the big battle, right? We've won the big battle. We're going to continue to make victories happen for retirees and get you your money that you deserve to have. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a great Friday, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.